Dear students, so the next traffic study we have to discuss is the origin and destination studies. So if you are taking the origin and destination studies, it will be giving us the information on the origin, destination, direction of travel, selection of routes, trip length and frequency and number of trips. So trip means it is a movement from one point to another. So you will get information regarding from where the trip has started and where it has ended, and why we are traveling from A to B or from one point to another, and what is the distance traveled during the trip, and what is the frequency and number of trips. So while we are considering a trip, it may be for one reason or for many reasons. Suppose a person may be traveling in his car and he will be traveling from home to work and from work to home. It is possible, and sometimes he will be dropping his children in between. He may be dropping his wife at his workplace, like that. So so you can analyze the origin and destination studies in two ways. One is either you can take only the traffic of the vehicles, that is trip made by the vehicles, or you can consider the passenger trips, that is you can consider a vehicle and you can understand what is the number of passengers and why each passenger is making a trip. So if we are considering this case, I have already said we are having suppose three passengers. One will be traveling from home to his workplace, other will be traveling from home to her workplace, and the child will be traveling from home to school. So hence three trips will be coming in one vehicle. So all these data can be obtained from origin and destination studies. So if you are taking the purposes of origin and destination studies, so the purposes include all these. One is to judge the adequacy of the existing routes. So if you are considering some places, maybe the traffic flow from one place to another will be more. So you can check whether the given or the available routes are adequate or not for carrying that much traffic flow. Then to plan a bypass facility. So if from A to suppose we are having 3 points A, B, C. Suppose B is a town, A and B are rural areas. But for traveling from A to C, you have to pass through B. Then what happens? The congestion at B will be increasing. So if some thing like that happens, you can provide a bypass from A to C. So whether you need to provide a bypass or not, it can be decided based on this origin and destination studies. Then to plan transportation systems and mass transit facilities like metros and all, we will be deciding based on the one of the study that decides whether it is necessary to provide such huge facilities is origin and destination studies. Next is to locate major or preferential routes. So it can be also used for identifying the routes where you have to provide a bypass facility, etc. Then to plan terminal facilities like bus terminals, etc., you can use this origin and destination studies. Then to locate new bridge, sometimes you have to locate a bridge, you have to provide a bridge over a river or something to connect two points, but you will not be providing at each point, but you will be considering the origin and destination studies, and based on that data you will be fixing the accurate position for this bridge. Then to locate intermediate stops for a public transport. So for example, suppose you have a new college or a new hospital has been constructed someplace. So earlier there may not be having a bus stop there, but when that facility comes, you have to provide a bus stop there. So it is based on that this destination, the people who uses the vehicle for reaching that particular facility or more, so you can provide a bus stop there. So in order to locate that intermediate stops for public transport, you can use the origin and destination studies. So these are the purposes of or uses of origin and destination studies or applications of origin and destination studies. Then the various methods for collecting the data include roadside interview method, license plate method, return postcard method, tag on car method, home interview method, and workspot interview method. So in roadside interview method, you will be having huge number of vehicles using a road, but you will be selecting some sample and you will be stopping those vehicles, and you randomly will be selecting samples and you will be stopping the vehicles, and you will be asking the passengers regarding all these data, like from where you have started, where you have to go, what is the purpose, so how frequently you are doing this trip, and in each day how many trips you are doing from one place to another. So all those can be done by this roadside interview method, so you will get a lot of data. Next is license plate method. So this will just give you the origin and destination of a trip. So in license plate method, we will be having a number of zones, and each zones you will be having an entry and exit point. So observers will be located at all entry and exit points of these zones, and this people will be noting the register number and the time at which that particular vehicle will be reaching that entry or exit point. So from analysis of these data at the office, that means you are having data what is the register number of the vehicle and what is the time it is coming at that point. Then that vehicle may be passing through that zone or somewhere, and he will be reaching another exit point. So there also the other personnel will be noting the register number and the time. So at office you can analyze all this data and you can identify the path in which the vehicle have traveled, and by this you can see the origin and destination. So once the destination has reached, he will not be exiting from that zone. So only he will be seen at the entry to that zone. He will not be exiting from that zone. So that will be his destination. So entry point means from zone from where the exit point at which the first exit point. So that will be his entry, and the point where he will not be seeing the exit, that is his destination. Then tag return postcard method. In return postcard method, you will be again giving the postcards that is having a printed questionnaire, and you will be giving the postcards with the return address to the drivers, and you will be asking them to fill the postcard and resend or to post that, so that you can collect the postcard and analyze the data. Then tag on car method. In tag on car method, you will be selecting some samples. You will be placing a tag on the car, and you will be noting the entry and means the entry time and the point. Like that, you will be noting at each exit points or cordon points. You will be noting at what time the car has reached that point, and like that you can get the tag, and at the end it will be removed and will be collected for data analysis. So in the tag on the car, you will be having from where it has reached at one point and the time at what time it has reached that point, then next point and the time at which it has reached there, the next point. So like that you will be having different different places and the time at which the car has reached there. So by that, by the analysis of data, you can see the pattern of the travel. Next is home interview method. So as we have said, we can do roadside interview method. Same questions you can ask to the people at home. So you can do some home interview, that is you will be selecting some sample, and there you will be going and interviewing the people of that house, and you will be inquiring what is the number of people staying in that house, then what are the work or whether they are working or they are going to school, etc., and what are the number of trips made, what is the purpose, frequency, all those things can be collected during home interview method. And same data can be collected by work spot interview method also, like offices and all. You can go, you can interview them personally, like what is the number of people in your house, what are the work done by them, and where they are going, at what frequency they are going, at what time they are going. So all those things can be approximately collected during home interview method, work spot interview method, and roadside interview method. So this interview method is the best suited method for collecting accurate data. Next is presentation of the OD, presentation of data collected from origin and destination studies. So the different methods are, you can represent it as OD matrix, then desired lines, pie charts, and contour lines. So if you are taking the OD matrix, So OD matrix is like this, that is you will have origin and destination like this, origin, destination. So you are having here 5 zones A, B, C, D, E. So there will be trips originating from A, and this is our origin. So sorry, this is destination, this is origin. So you will be having trips originating from A and ending at B. So here it is 0 means no trip is originated from A and ending at B. There are 50 trips originating from A and ending at C. There is no trip originating from A and ending in D. So like that you can represent here. Okay. Then from B, what is the number of trips traveling from B to A, B to B, sorry, B to C, B to D, like that you can enter in the form of a table. So that is known as OD matrix. Next is desired lines. So desired lines means you are representing it by using these lines like this. You can divide an area into different zones and you can represent. Here we have shown only one origin and the destinations to different zones. You can show in one graph itself different origins and destinations. So from this point all the trips are originating and it is traveling to all these zones. So what is the trip intensity? That can be shown by the thickness of this line. If this line is thicker, it means that more trip is originated from this point and ending at that particular point. So here you can see this is one thicker line. That means more trip is more trip is there from this point to this point. So the thickness of the desired lines shows what is the number of trips that is occurred. Next is pie charts. So pie charts you can represent some in many ways. So this is one example. You can take one origin. So here it is an example. It is taken as Japan, and from there different destinations. This is just export destinations, but you can convert that into a zonal area like that, from one zone to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like in the previous case we have already discussed A, B, C, D, E. So origin is A, then what is the number of trips or percentage of trips traveling to B, C, D, E. So that you can represent in the form of a pie chart. So from A, what is the percentage traveling to B, to C, to D, to E, like that. Here it is shown like this, from Japan to US to China to South Korea. So like that, what is the trip generated. So like this also you can represent, and also you can represent like this, that is what is the percentage of trips that is done for different purposes, like home to work, home to school, for shopping, for business, for other private uses. So like that also you can represent. So in these ways you can represent as pie charts. Then if you are taking contour lines, it is similar to topography contours. So that shape will be indicating the general traffic need of area. So you will be plotting traffic contour lines. So these are the different methods for representing the origin and destination data. So we have discussed what are the purposes of origin and destination data, what are the methods for collection of origin and destination data, and what are the methods for presenting this data. Okay, so thank you.